All right, hello everyone. Welcome now to another week. This is week number 4 of our reading through 1st and 2nd Kings, a continuation of 1st and 2nd Samuel. It's now day 16. We're down the countdown. This is the ninth reading that is remaining. We found, I think, by comparison to 1st and 2nd Samuel, very choppy narratives. It's quickly moving through history. This is hitting the highlights of various generations of history as told by the Jewish story. Some of these are very challenging narratives. We're encountering many bad kings. We're encountering characters such as Elijah, who shows that there is some representative of God that remains in the land. Then, of course, Elisha, who seems to be a little more productive, at least in the quantity of what's recorded about him. However, Elisha is not turning the course, but merely showing that there's someone still around that is of God. And so now, as we are counting down 9 readings remaining, probably once we get past 2nd Kings here, we'll take a little longer of a break, a little bit of a breather for more than the week or so that we did between 2nd Samuel and 1st Kings, just to kind of absorb all of this and take it all in. Okay, so chapter number 9, Jehu is going to become king. Elisha is going to anoint him. Here, Elisha, the primary prophet at this time, something like a Samuel of the book of 1st Samuel. The condition of Jehu being anointed king is he is supposed to take out Ahab's male heirs. He's going to eliminate any perpetuation, any posterity of Ahab, cutting off all the male heirs, eliminating them, killing them. We get how what this kind of bloodshed means. We get that this is going to be quite an event. However, in that culture, there's something even a deeper symbolism that is involved. You've heard me attest before the significance of male heirs, and now, even after Ahab's demise, your name lives on, your record lives on, your honor and status live on through your male heirs. By eliminating all of the male heirs to Ahab, all of his sons, all of his grandsons, and even great-grandsons, if there were any at this point, by eliminating them, you're erasing the record of Ahab. You are dismissing any honor claim that this family would have had, and you're casting a net of shame, an overcast of shame to this family perpetually. And so this is significant. This is more than just a sense of punishment or retribution. That this is more than even assuring that there's going to be no one from Ahab that ever rules again. That this is showing a removal of genealogy, as it were. Furthermore, Jezebel, who's still alive, as her son has become king, Jezebel is going to die, and she's not going to be buried, it says. Again, we can get that this is not good for people to go unburied. However, in these honor-shame cultures like ancient Israel, even more so, burial was tied into honor and dignity. What's being written here, she's going to have a shameful death, which is going to be consistent with the shame of the elimination of the house of Ahab. They're not supposed to be remembered well whatsoever. Um, so as it continues, Jehu is going to go to war, and interestingly, he's going to meet up at Naboth's plot. Here comes Naboth again. There's echoes. Remember Naboth's vineyard early on. Ahab had wanted Naboth's vineyard, a place that was likely, it was presumed to be ancestral land, something that Naboth was not going to sell. Ahab wanted it. Jezebel killed or orchestrated murder of Naboth, and then was able to seize his vineyards. I mentioned at the time the story echoed David, Bathsheba, and Uriah to a certain degree, to a limited degree. Naboth's character is brought up again here in death as a reminder of what Ahab and Jezebel has done. The powerful kings exploiting the non-royal class of people. When Jehu is going to, part of the, before this chapter closes, it mentions the idols and the pagans that Ahab and Jezebel had introduced here to the land of Israel. There's identity issues, introducing other gods, changing of identity, changing of culture. There's many who speak of in the United States, some who are concerned that there's a removal of Christianity and part of our culture. In the ancient times, your cultural identity was far more significant. Consider here in the United States, we have maybe 400 years of culture. Here in the New World, really, as a nation, 250 years of identity, roughly. Well, these people had centuries and centuries and even millennia of having stewarded this land and having developed culture that changed extremely little in that part of the world during that time. And even in modernity, culture in that part of the world changes very, very slowly. So the introduction to other gods to Israel, idols and pagan worship, that's an identity issue that's being changed. That's part of why Ahab's house has got to go. Also, more obviously, perhaps, it's stepping outside of the covenant with God. All right, so in chapter number 10, Jehu is going to eliminate Ahab's family, and then he's going to continue on and eliminate the prophets and priests of Baal, the antithesis of Yahweh God of the Hebrews. And then there's a synopsis at the closing of chapter 10 of Jehu's reign. There were some good things. He did some good things, but he was not good enough. He cleaned up partway. He did not clean up enough. And now as we go into 8 readings left after this, I've asked the reflective question multiple times last week, how can they steer this ship around? It seems it's growing more and more dim, more negative. It doesn't seem they can turn this around. When somebody is good, they're not good enough. When somebody does clean, they're not cleaning up enough. And so we continue forward now into, I'll meet you again tomorrow with chapter number 11.